how do you get negative reviews removed from Google, Trustpilot, Sitejabber, and all those other sites out there? So first off, I want to point out that we're talking about fake negative reviews or reviews that break terms of service. So we want to talk about how to legitimately get reviews removed that don't belong there. Unfortunately, in business, that does happen a lot, but it's actually a lot easier than you think. So all of these platforms offer a way for you to report a review. The best way to report it is if you're logged into that admin panel. So you'll just log into your admin panel, especially if it's Google My Business. You'll log into Google My Business, go find that review, click on it, hit report review, and you're going to explain why you need to report it. So typically there's several categories of why it could be against terms of service. So in there, there's usually harassment, spam, previous employees are not allowed to leave product reviews or service reviews on a site. They can, of course, leave reviews on things like Glassdoor. Anyways, you have all those options, and then you just go ahead and report that. And most of the time, they'll come down right away if they're against terms of service. Sometimes you will have to follow up. One of the nice things about things like Trustpilot and Sitejabber is they do have premium support. So if you have one that you're having trouble with that maybe a competitor left and looks very authentic, but you know for a fact it's a competitor, they can trace the IP back down to a competitor address, things like that. A lot of times they will work directly with you to get that removed without having you go to the legal route. So it's very easy. So if you guys want to see exactly how to do that, stay tuned for the full YouTube video. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into that YouTube video. All right, so we're going to jump right in on how to get that done. So the first thing you need to do is go to Google My Business. Obviously, just type in Google My Business if we're talking about Google reviews. This is what it'll look like. Sign in, and you'll be brought to a page that looks like this. Sometimes it's a little weird. You have to, if you're already logged to the right account, you have to click the Google, and it'll take you to a page that looks like this. You have multiple sites. Then once you select your site, it'll actually, they change the way it looks. It'll look like this, and then you can just click Read Reviews. So we're lucky we don't have this problem, but we have had, competitors try to do things before, and we were able to defend that. So what you're going to do is find that negative review. Luckily, we don't have any to actually report, but we'll just click on one here, Report Review. And then here are all of your selections. So you see that Google has its terms of service. There's legal violations. You can find their terms of service by Googling it, but a easy win is if they have personal information there. So they use, for example, your first and last name, a phone number, an email, hate speech, bullying, harassment, profanity is one, conflict of interest, spam, and off topic. So all of these are opportunities for you to get this review removed. So if they're cursing and being very unprofessional, that can be removed. And again, what we're trying to do is legitimately get these off by terms of service. Now, let's say you select spam, but that one didn't work because for some reason they don't determine as spam. They use algorithms that'll tell them if it's spam or not, and they'll check it out. But you might be able to figure out, maybe they used your first and last name, so then you could resubmit this after. In our experience, if they are truly fake reviews or spam reviews, 80 to 90% of the time, they come down almost instantly. I believe Google takes 24 to 48 hours to review it. So that is a really easy way. And then all you're going to do is do spam and send report. That's it. Then you're done. You'll get an email back to your Google admin email address, and that's all you have to do. Now, if for some reason it didn't come down right away, then you could, again, like I said, try again, potentially under a different category, or just keep repeating it. And a lot of times, eventually, it will come down, because you got to remember that different people are going to review it every time. Now, let's jump over to Trustpilot. All of these at this point work exactly the same. You'll come in here, and the only difference with sites like Trustpilot and Sitejabber is before they let you flag it, they actually ask a lot of times to verify. So you can actually request information to figure out who that person is, ask them for a receipt or confirmation of working with the business. And the whole goal here is Trustpilot and Sitejabber and all those other platforms, they want to protect you against people who are not truly experiencing your service. So, for example, someone walks down the street and sees your sign and says, that's an ugly sign, 1-star review. You'd be crazy, but we see reviews like that, and it's very unfair to the business. And of course, that feedback's great, but doesn't belong in a place that's going to damage the brand because someone doesn't like something, or maybe there's a typo somewhere and that really doesn't reflect the business itself. So you can request that verification. If they don't verify the review, I believe within 48, 75 hours or whatever, it'll actually come down. or it'll give you that opportunity to then flag it, same as Google. You can report the different categories here to make sure those come down. One that we've seen a lot actually is about a different business. So if you guys know me, I'm the co-founder of Otter PR. There's another company out there called Otter AI. So we've had a couple reviews talking about our voice transcription and services like that are not services we offer at all. And they were Otter AI, and we were able to get that worked out where we explained to Trustpilot that, hey, this is a completely different service. They are similar names, we're in a different category. Things like that do happen. People make mistakes. So you're able to protect your reputation. And again, we're only looking at removing those non-legitimate reviews. So I'll go through one more example, but almost every platform has this. Some are easier to work with than others. Unfortunately, some sites are very hard to work with. A lot of employee sites, just because of the nature of working with employees, they have their terms of service, but a lot of times you would have to get additional help with that just because they don't even follow their own terms of service. I've seen cases where the same employees left 25 negative reviews on a platform. They just use a different email and they do it from their phone and their computer and the library to protect the IP. But anyways, we're on Sitejabber right now, and that's going to work almost the exact same here. You can, I believe it's a premium feature, but attempt to resolve this through them and then report the review. All right, so that's really the highlight of how to get bad reviews that are non-legitimate removed from different platforms. But now I want to cover how to get legitimately bad reviews removed ethically. So the first step is all of these platforms allow you to respond. So I recommend that you respond right away with a very specific type of message. So we have kind of a crisis management plan where we outline how to respond, but a lot of the way we respond is giving them a way to reach out to a specific person. So if we can't figure out exactly who it is and reach out individually, we're going to say, hey, thanks so much for leaving this review. Unfortunately, we're not able to find information under this name because a lot of people use aliases. Would love to help resolve this issue. Please email us at help@otterpr.com. So that's how we do that, and that's the first one. We're not addressing whether we were wrong or right. The action is to improve their experience, because we do, if it's a legitimate review, we want to make sure that we resolve it with them. We don't want to try to go do a workaround, get a review removed unethically, and then leave an unhappy customer, because that's not good for long-term business. What we want to do is work it out with them. So once we're able to get in contact with them, we'll reach out and say, hey, I'm so sorry that you had this experience. We'd love to offer you, a free month of service. We'd love to offer you a free gift. We'd love to offer you a refund, a new team, whatever that is. For each business, it's different. If I was a restaurant, we'd say, hey, we'd love to have you come in for a complimentary dinner, and hopefully we can change your experience with us. That's going to be your best way, is really work with that person. A lot of times it could be due to misunderstandings where something is a day late and it was a missed expectation. The sales team set that expectation and you missed it by a day, and so it's just working with them to come up with a compromise that you can fix it, and ideally have them update their review. So if they left you a 1-star review, maybe they updated that to a 3-star review, and then you do some extra stuff for them and you get that up there. And reviews are very powerful in both directions. They're there to really protect the customer, keep the seller honest. So it's important that you kind of try to help solve that problem, and address every single one to the best of your ability. I would recommend addressing every single negative review and do everything you can to get them improved, because what happens with negative reviews is they build a sentiment. So if someone's looking at your business, not only is it going to help hurt you closing, but then if a client sees those reviews, they see 4 or 5 negative reviews, they read through them and they're like, oh, that happened to me and I really don't like that. It brings them aware of those negative reviews. And one of those places we'll see that the most is, Amazon sellers. When you talk about Amazon products, those reviews really matter. And I don't know if you've ever done this, but sometimes I'll go through and read those 1-star reviews, and then I'll get a product and all I can see is the defects. Even though that's the product I decided and I was aware of that ahead of time, it kind of ruins the experience for me. And it's the same thing with the psychology of, the end user. So for your business, you really need to do everything you can to get those removed. So if you guys need any help getting reviews removed, or online reputation help, or support, reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you at otterpr.com. Thank you.